Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
Want to take the next steps in taking care of your health? Tennessee Valley Allergy Services can make your goals a reality. Their team of doctors, nurses, and medical professionals are dedicated to providing allergy care and treatment, such as drops and shots, to fit your exact needs. Their expert services are for anyone ages 2 and older. Whether you struggle with environmental or food allergies, they've got you covered. Discover a better you at Tennessee Valley Allergy Services, located right next to the Zaxby's in Lawrenceburg. Book online or call 931-325-0757 to schedule your appointment today.
Efficiency, reliability, accuracy. Move forward with your real estate sale or purchase with Title and Escrow of Lawrence County, the most experienced closing team around. Working with clients locally and throughout the state, we offer a wide range of services, including the expertise of an on-staff attorney, backed by our more than 49 years experience in titles and closings. We get the job done on time at a fair price and ensure every last detail is correct. Our goal is to give you peace of mind. When you work with us, you work with people who live where you do. We understand the importance of the real estate community and strive to build strong relationships with all parties involved in the process. Whether you're buying a home, selling a business, acquiring land, or anything in between, you're in good hands with Title and Escrow of Lawrence County.
Put the most experienced closing team on your side. Contact Title and Escrow of Lawrence County today.
Good Works at Home, formerly known as The Summit at Home, is a licensed non-skilled agency dedicated to helping you maintain your independence at home for as long as possible. Our compassionate and caring staff provide support in various areas, including dressing, bathing, personal hygiene, transportation, cleaning, and companionship. Please call our office about services, payment options, and long-term care policies at 931-762-2310. We look forward to assisting you with keeping your independence longer.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
And welcome everybody here to X Sports Today. AJ Good with Bryant, Gobble, and Michael Marks. And guys, a very wild weekend, to say the least. A lot of stuff going down in the world of college football, the NFL. We were just talking right before we came on. Like we don't know what's going on. We don't know what to believe, who to believe. Everything's just kind of up in the air as far as, we don't know who the best teams in college football are. We don't know the best teams in the NFL. All we know is it's a great day to be a fired football coach.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Coming into the season, and I've been listening to it a lot and reading a lot of what's been going on in Baton Rouge. And even after last week losing at Vanderbilt, no one had any inclination that Brian Kelly was going to get fired.
No.
Even the people at the top level say, the buyout's too much. We're losing to top 10 teams by one score. The games are close down the wire. We still believe in this guy. And then the A&M game happens. They're up at halftime. Clearly something happened at halftime in the second half. They got outscored 35-7. Kind of looked like the team quit on them. The fans quit on them. And it turns out the administration does. And now they're trying to find a way to put together a $54 million buyout, and another top-tier job comes open.
Well, and they're going to have to find even more, because I've seen some reports that getting rid of the whole staff is going to be close to a nine-figure sum, which is just insane. I miss the days when like LSU, for instance, this year, their offense has been subpar. I miss the days when it was just fire the offensive coordinator and find a new guy. But it's felt weird the entire time that Brian Kelly was in Baton Rouge. I mean, obviously he, everybo's heard of the Tommy Moffitt. He fired him, and he's at Texas A&M. Look at how their program's doing. And then he picks Sloan over Mike Denbrock to be his offensive coordinator. You see what Denbrock and Notre Dame are doing, and now you see what Sloan and LSU are doing this year. So it's just seemed like all these big decisions he's had to make, they've gone against him, and they've just had terrible luck this year.
They have. I'm okay with the decision, though. I don't know how y'all feel, but if you're a school like LSU and you have expectations for your program and those expectations are not being met, then you're not okay with being a good football team or an okay football team. You want to be a great football team. I'm okay with that. I mean, if the writing's on the wall that it's not going to get done, then why drag things out even more? That's the state of today's college football landscape. Most coaches that have won a national championship in recent memory, like you look at their records over the first 3 seasons, like they either come out of the gate hot or there's significant improvement from year 1 to year 2, and they eventually like reach a championship level within those first few years. This is Brian Kelly's 4th season, and he had kind of sustained success, but it almost looked like it plateaued. If not getting worse this year, I think they lost like 3 out of their last 4 this year. They already have 3 losses this year with 4 more games to go, plus the bowl game. So I get it. Some people are probably thinking, Brian Kelly's a great coach. Why would you fire him? But if your expectations for your school are that high, I get it. I mean, you're LSU. Act like it, right? And Brian Kelly hadn't act like it, and he kind of rubbed some people the wrong way, I think. He was a little abrasive in nature and easy to kind of pick on in some of his press conferences and whatnot, right? So, yeah, see ya.
And his former players were not backing him up any, which we've talked about the same thing with Hugh Freeze, that's usually a pretty good indicator of that coach's character. But now in the SEC, and to show how crazy the turnover has been in just the last 3 or 4 years, there are 2 active SEC coaches that have played in the SEC championship game, and it was the 2 from last year.
Wow. And now you got Florida, LSU, Penn State. Those are 3 top-level jobs. Lane Kiffin's being rumored for every single one of them. He might not even leave. That's not even a guarantee at this point. And that's this kind of the question, like, okay, well, Penn State thought they were getting Cignetti. Cignetti stays in Indiana. Who's to say that Ole Miss will pony up the money to keep Lane Kiffin? And now where are you?
Well, and does either LSU or Florida, because I think those are the 2 that are going to try to go for Lane Kiffin, you just spent a ton of money getting rid of your old coaches. Are you going to have the money to bring him in? Because trust me, it's not going to be the a same number or just slightly higher than what he's making at Ole Miss. He's going to want the whole 9 yards, and I don't think LSU or Florida are in position to do that.
Yeah. Do you go? LSU's had Ed Orgeron and Brian Kelly, right? So you made the big name hire. You tried that experiment and didn't necessarily work out the way you wanted it to. It wasn't a complete disaster. Brian Kelly's still a respectable coach, and will probably get a job somewhere else, but it wasn't terrible. So I don't know, where do you move on? I like to – where was Mike Elko before A&M? Was he at Duke? Right. So do you make the up-and-coming hire? Because you've seen it work out here at A&M. They're having great success with it. Tennessee's had great success with Josh Heupel and the kind of the up-and-coming hire. I know those are 2 different situations, but – I don't know. I could see LSU maybe hiring the guy from Washington. What's his name?
Jed Fish.
Yeah, you could see him hiring him or just someone else up and coming. I don't think they want to put up front a lot of money for another big name hire such as Lane Kiffin. Maybe they would. I don't know.
And you mentioned Mike Elko coming from an ACC squad. I think Brent Key is a perfect hire right here. Young guy. Now I get he's a Georgia Tech guy, so it'd be tough to lure him away, but. If they're, he's done this with Georgia Tech, and obviously they're, I guess you could say a football school, but they don't have the resources that LSU has, and I think that they could make a really attractive offer.
Here's the openings: LSU, Florida, Penn State, Arkansas, Oklahoma State, UCLA, Virginia Tech, Stanford, Oregon State, Colorado State, UAB, and Kent State. Those are your openings
so far.
So far,
I would say because Kentucky
so far.
Still has a head coach.
Auburn,
Auburn. Auburn's a big one.
Yeah, so that's what
there's not. I don't think there's a deep enough. I think a lot of people said this. I don't think there's a deep enough pool of coaches to supply.
The coordinator,
right? Yeah, exactly.
Some of them are, and some of them might go outside the box, which that could work. You never know.
Yeah, look at Kurt Cignetti.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go to the Major League Baseball guys. We got Game 3 of the World Series tonight. Pretty much it's been the story of the offense. The Blue Jays broke out in Game 1. The Dodgers broke out in Game 3. And now they're going night game to a hitter not as friendly ballpark at Dodger Stadium at night. Glasnow against Scherzer. A younger arm against an older arm.
Yeah.
Glasnow's not younger by any stretch of the imagination.
But compared to Scherzer, most people are.
Yeah, 2 flamethrowers here going tonight for each side.
Yeah, oh man, after game 1, you felt Toronto just had all the momentum. They had a 9-run 6th inning. How could you beat that? Any game that Yamamoto is on the mound for LA, you can just almost go ahead and chalk that one up as a win. He has been outstanding in the playoffs. It's going to be, on Toronto's offense to get to Tyler Glass now, because the Dodgers starting pitching in this playoff is a sub-2 ERA. The rest of the big leagues is like a 4.5, 4.5, 4.6. So you got to get to their bullpen and see if you can try to make another late rally.
Yeah.
I'll be excited to watch. I don't know much about Max Scherzer now and what he can do. I mean, he's kind of an older guy, and I do know I'm rooting for the Jays. I don't know much other than that. I don't know. It's, like I said, is it weird for a Canadian team to be America's team? Like, go Blue Jays.
I think this is helping U.S.-Canadian relations that we're rooting for the Blue Jays, the Dodgers.
Yeah,
everyone, pretty much. And just before we go to break, guys, some more and more is coming out about this NBA scandal involving Terry Rozier, Chauncey Billups, and Damon Jones, and now every league has to look out for this. So there's a lot of rumblings going around. So everyone's got to have their head on the swivel here.
Yeah, and I just think we're in a weird spot with gambling right now in sports. And I get the Billups thing and the Rozier thing were very different in what they were, but college athletes now can bet on professional sports. I mean, I just feel like we're putting some of these athletes in such tough situations to, I get, they're millionaires. What do they need to gamble for? But everybody does it. And it puts them in a tough spot. And, do we need to go back to a way where it's a little harder to gamble? I don't know, but it's at a point right now where it's every league. We've seen it in the MLB. We've got guys like Emmanuel Clase, all those guys from Cleveland. We have it with Terry Rozier and in the NBA, and we've had guys in the NFL too. It's become a real problem.
Yeah. Explain the Rozier situation, Timmy.
He was just doing prop bets.
He's just doing prop bets. That's what I thought.
Yeah, sending messages to family members. Hey, I'm going to fake a foot injury here in the first quarter, take the under on all the prop bets.
You remember after all the Clase stuff came out, there were people finding clips of all his skipping those pitches, and then there were people doing the same thing with Terry Rozier, and it's just stuff that he's doing in a game that NBA players would not do.
Yeah, exactly. Well, coming up next, guys, we'll take a look at everything that went down Week 9 of college football when we return here on Exports Today.
Top quality equipment rentals at the right price. It's not too good to be true at Rent Right Equipment and Sales. We guarantee clean, reliable products that are up to your standards. Our family-owned business has been doing that for more than 40 years. Let our friendly and knowledgeable staff take care of you from purchase to maintenance. Saws, drills, lifts, mowers, generators, you name it, we've got it. Stop by and see our inventory today, located on Buffalo Road in Lawrenceburg.
There are now more ways to save at Quick Mart. Become a Quick Club member and easily earn rewards on qualifying purchases at Quick Mart convenience stores using the Quick Club app, available in the Apple App Store and Google Play. To save on fuel for work, use the Fuel Rewards Pro app to earn 5 cents a gallon on work fill-ups and redeem the savings for yourself. To get started, visit fuelrewards.com/pro or download the app in the Apple App Store and Google Play.
From our humble beginnings to today, Parks Lumber Company has continuously served Lawrence and surrounding counties for over a century. Although we started as a small lumber yard in 1896, we have grown to include everything you need to make your dream project come to life. No matter your building needs, our experienced staff will be with you every step of the way to ensure you receive the highest customer service and attention to detail you deserve. Visit us at 106 2nd Street or on Facebook. We guarantee you will see working with PLC is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Got primary care? Find your way to better health with Primary Care by One Stop Medical. With decades of combined experience, you'll find a one-on-one relationship just like the old days, but with the convenience and technology of today. When One Stop Medical does primary care, it's the best. Call today for an appointment and find your way to healthy living. Serving Lawrenceburg, Pulaski, and Hohenwald. Phone 931-244-8220. Primary Care by One Stop Medical at its best.
Shop McMaster's Home Gallery for furniture, appliances, and more. And shop quality. Shop convenience. Shop service. Shop local. a family-owned business with a long history of serving the region. We're a one-stop home furnishings destination. We feature brands you know, competitively priced, backed by professional installation and service. You can trust that we'll take good care of you before and after the sale. For your home, shop smart. Shop McMaster's Home Gallery today.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
And welcome everybody back to X Sports Today. AJ Good with Bryant, Gobble, Michael Marks. Guys, let's take a look at college football. What happened this past week? Start first with Tennessee. Started quick. Got a little hairy there, kind of towards the middle, but the second half they really turned it on. Impressive. 21 points in the first, 14 in the second, 14 in the third, 7 in the fourth. Pretty comfortable despite a combined 90 points. So they hit the over there in a big way. But Tennessee comes away with especially for the SEC, a pretty comfortable win, all things considered.
I mean, you look at Kentucky's first two scores; they were big plays, and they were plays that if one guy did his job a little different, that maybe it doesn't result in such a big play. I think the defense is getting there. I get they looked rough on Saturday, especially on third down. I know Kentucky converted a bunch of those third and medium, third and longs, but I think for the most part they did fine, and the offense was going to put up enough points that you weren't really going to have to worry about what Kentucky was going to do.
For me, the defense worked whenever it mattered. I know you look at 34 points, you say that's not a good defensive performance, but when it mattered, they stood up and they made big plays. And the Tennessee defense is not going to be what it was like last year. We already know that. It's already halfway through the season. That's gone. What we have to expect from the Tennessee defense is their ability to wreak havoc. Now, their ability to wreak havoc also them taking risks and trying to blitz more, do a little more risky plays. That's going to open up big plays for the other team, but you have to hope that the benefits outweigh the negatives there. So I think the defense it's fine. I think the offense needs to do what they did last week every week. And now you're not going to be hitting long shot after long shot like you were Saturday. Like every time I felt like I looked up, it was Joey chucking it 30, 40 yards downfield. Like he kept hitting go routes after go routes to Brazel, Staley, and Mike Matthews. I think I saw today the top 10 list for receiving yards, and Tennessee has all three of those guys I just listed on there in the SEC. So
3 of the top 7 and 4. They have 3 of the top 4 in SEC play.
Yeah. So I mean, if our offense can show up to every game, I think our defense is good enough to get us the couple of stops that we need. And we'll see this coming weekend if our offense is good enough against a really good defense. We can look ahead to that later. But overall, they handled Kentucky, and we needed that.
Yeah.
I say, after the week that they had with the whole baseball thing, and then you lost to Alabama kind of in a really disheartening fashion the week before, you needed to come out and just kick the ever-loving snot out of Kentucky, and that's what happened.
I would say I was calling for 55-14. I think 56-34 will do the job.
Yeah, it will get the job done. Let's look at some of the other games, guys. UCLA comes back down to earth. They get, I guess, prime time as far as Fox goes, big noon kickoff, and Indiana just comes out. No mercy on the Bruins, a dominant win to improve to 8-0 and stay number 2 in the country.
Yeah, I said going in, this had a lot of the USF versus Miami feel like. You wanted this one to be a good game, because it's really David versus Goliath, but you knew that Indiana was probably going to handle business. Pick 6 on play number 1 doesn't change that. And, really, they wouldn't have needed anything after that pick 6 to get the job done, but they put 49 more just to be sure.
I thought Nico was hurt. Was he fun? I mean, he played, obviously. I don't keep up with the UCLA. I'm not going to pretend like I keep up with the UCLA, but I guess I thought he was hurt, and then I was surprised when I saw him.
He got banged up during that Maryland game last week. He seemed to be fine health-wise, all things considered, heading into that one.
I mean, he was 13 of 27 with 2 interceptions. I know he's playing a really good Indiana team, but do you think maybe his health was also affecting him? I didn't watch, so I don't know. I'm just asking a question.
They couldn't do anything.
I would say it was 3 and out.
Okay. But he was a little banged up, but I think even fully healthy, that score is exactly what it is.
Yeah, or maybe a couple points difference, but not much more.
We kind of touched on this game already, guys. A&M against LSU. LSU looked really good in that first half. They even kind of weathered a couple Texas A&M storms there in the first half, but man, second half,
Yeah.
A&M's shot was shot out like a cannon, doing it all. Offense, defense, special teams balanced on offense. When you look at the final stats, this is an impressive win for A&M on the road.
Yeah, Marcel Reed started off very shaky. Let that that LSU defense that's caused a lot of problems for everybody. But yeah, as that game went on, they just kind of nickel and dimed them the whole way, and really just the big plays in the second half. And it was 35-7 in the second half. That really tells you everything you need to know about this one.
Yeah.
Take your iPad away. You may already know this because you've already studied it. They scored 49 points.
Yeah.
How many completions did Marcel Reed have?
It was like,
I'm already looking at it.
was it like 12?
Yeah, it's 12.
Yeah.
12 completions. They scored 49 points. I mean, LSU's defense let them run all over them.
Yeah.
It was bad.
And I think that was kind of their goal going in, was to be able to control the clock. Now, the time of possession didn't favor them much one way or the other, but they ran the ball 40 times for 220 yards. That's almost 8 yards.
SEC defense, that's not getting it done.
Yeah,
And LSU likes to hang their hat. Oh, Tiger Stadium, Death Valley at night. Here we come.
Yeah,
Look out. And they get embarrassed.
Yeah, and that looked like an A&M crowd after the game.
It did. Well, a lot of, I think the A&M people were joining in
yeah.
on the Fire Kelly
Yeah.
chants there at the end of it. Let's go to a couple of close ones that weren't expected. First, Bama at South Carolina. South Carolina had the lead. Bama ties it up there in the fourth. And then, tell me where you guys have heard this before. Lenore Sellers' turnover turns into the go-ahead touchdown.
I mean, it's the exact same thing almost that happened the year before. I didn't preview this game last week just because I didn't think it would be one. But as I got closer to it, I was like, look, Alabama's played those four ranked teams. Nobody talks about Kalen DeBoer versus ranked teams. They talk about them versus unranked teams. So I thought that they would have a chance to struggle. I didn't think it would be this much. The fact that South Carolina had a lead late in this one, and an 8-point lead at that, and just had to try to run the clock out. And like you said, the Lenore Sellers fumble kind of cost them this one late.
That's what it was. It was a fumble. I was trying to run it through my mind. I'm like, I don't remember him throwing an interception.
He had like a bunch of guys all over him. And someone stripped it out.
Yeah, I remember that. Second. Man, I hate it for him. I think somebody put it best, though. You have to kill these good teams. Like, you have to drive a stake through Alabama's heart. Yeah. You can't be ready to rush the field up 8 with Alabama having the ball and plenty of time left on the clock. Yeah. You got to kill them. And South Carolina is not good enough to kill him. I'll be interested to see if this is their last good performance, South Carolina's last good performance, because, I mean, that's a disheartening one, to say the least. They've already had a rough season. You had a really good opponent, maybe kind of a season salvaging type win in your hands, and you let it go. So we'll see how South Carolina goes for the rest of the season. I think South Carolina fans, I told one of my buddies who's from South Carolina, loves the team. I said, you better enjoy Lenore Sellers while he's still there, because I think he's got 3 or 4 more games left wearing that jersey, and then he's gone.
To another one, guys, this time in the Pacific Northwest, way closer than anyone anticipated. Wisconsin taking Oregon down to the wire as the Ducks eke out a 21-7 win.
This is the second time this year that Oregon has struggled against a subpar Big Ten team. They did it earlier in the year with Northwestern, who was kind of down at the time. But, the passing game from Oregon was just non-existent. I mean, obviously the weather played a factor into that. And I don't know. I just think that Oregon has really struggled since that Penn State game. Obviously, they had the big hype for the Indiana game. Obviously lost that one, but they've kind of struggled a little bit since then. They had the win against Rutgers, but it just felt like they've kind of taken a step back since that Penn State game.
I don't want to say they did struggle, but they didn't lose this game. I don't think they were ever in danger of losing this game by any means. I mean, they looked rough in the first and second half. It was 0-0 until like a minute left in the second half. So the first half was a little choppy, but they come out, score a touchdown, make it 14-0, and then make it 21-0 in the fourth. Wisconsin gets a late touchdown to kind of make it 2-score game, but they handled their business. I'm fine with them just handling their business.
They need to. When you look at their remaining schedule, they still need somewhat of an impressive win. You're at Iowa next.
That's a good opportunity.
Who had a huge win against Minnesota, dominating win. Then you're at your home versus SC, and then you're at Washington.
Yeah,
so that's three opportunities, but you got to come away with some sort of a convincing win, because that one loss. you got throttled in your own building to the number 2 team, and
you skipped over Minnesota. They played Minnesota as well.
That one probably won't be close though.
It'll still be, if Minnesota has a good record, you don't think that?
After what they did this,
I mean, it's not like a something you hang your hat on, but that's good team.
Yeah, but it's home.
Okay.
It's a Friday night, though. It could get a little awkward. It could get awkward.
All right.
I don't know. I just don't trust PJ Fleck.
All right.
If
Fair
that was
enough.
at home,
maybe
I give them a little bit, especially after what they did to Nebraska.
Okay.
But it's there. I just don't have any faith in PJ. I like his outfit, but I don't have any faith in PJ. Georgia Tech, that was close about late in the second quarter, and then all of a sudden the Yellow Jackets turn it on. Good win against Syracuse. They stay undefeated. They just keep finding ways to win games, guys.
Yeah, Haynes King was awesome. I mean, almost 25 of 31. I mean, that is an incredibly good percentage, 300 yards.
He had 395 yards total offense
and 5 touchdowns.
Yeah,
that tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
Ricky Collins still hasn't really figured it out for Syracuse. And you know, I don't pity many teams, but you feel for Fran Brown and this team this year because they looked so good coming off that win at Clemson, but you lose Angeli, and then that kind of tanks your season.
Yeah.
If Georgia Tech takes care of business for the rest of the season, then you're going to see what they're made of in the college football playoff.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they have NC State left. NC State's a 4-4, middle of the pack ACC team. They should be able to take care of business. Boston College is after that. Boston College 1-7.
Yeah.
Is Big Bill, is that his name?
Yeah, Bill
Getting
O'Brien.
fired, Bill O'Brien.
That's only his second year.
Yeah.
Is it?
They're
Well,
going to be patient up there because they don't have a choice.
Yeah, how about
well, Boston College should be a win for Georgia Tech. They're not very good this year. You finish the season with Pitt and then Georgia, so they can afford to lose to Georgia and still be in the playoff. And
they do need to watch out.
In the league.
Yes, if they lose to Pitt and Georgia coming down the stretch, they will not make the playoff.
Yep.
Another ACC game. The final score doesn't really kind of tell it. It was Miami beat Stanford 42-7. 7-7 at halftime. It was 7-7 midway through the third. Then Miami just came alive, but a lot of question marks with this team because that game, if they would have spread that out, the 42-7 win spread out, I think a lot of people have been put at ease. But they came out flat. They came out slow. They went into the locker room flat and slow. And finally woke up kind of midway through the third there. But still, this isn't a good Stanford team, and they just look subpar.
Yeah, I would say you had the 2 third-quarter picks from Bryant, the quarterback for Stanford, that kind of turned the tide of this one. But Stanford got up 7-0, and they made it tough on Miami. And obviously, I don't think they'll probably want to break out those camo uniforms too many more times after that one.
I forgot about the camo uniforms. That's bad. They took care of the ball, though. Miami did. Stanford had 2 turnovers. They ran the ball well. Fletcher had 23 carries for 3 touchdowns. So, I mean, Miami needs to watch out. They are flirting with disaster here.
Yeah. Ole Miss a good bounce back at Oklahoma. Puts Oklahoma 2-2 in the SEC. They go to Tennessee. Night game coming up this week, but Ole Miss got it done offensively. Defensively, my gosh, they got after John Mateer.
Yeah.
He was on his back a lot, and Mateer was pretty shaken because he was missing wide open receivers for easy first downs, trying to throw the deep ball and hit the big play. And even though that it was an 8-point game, but Ole Miss kind of just kept enough distance from start to finish.
I was about to say, you look and 7 of Oklahoma's points came off that long run for Xavier Robinson. But I think Ole Miss went in there and handled it. I mean, obviously there were all the talks about their defense and that late game collapse last week at Georgia. I mean, they put all that to rest. I mean, outscored them. It didn't outscore them in the second half, but had a big enough lead built at halftime that it wasn't really much of a worry. And then, Oklahoma's defense. They were number 1 in the country, and I think it was number 1 in yards, number 1 in the conference in points. And I mean, LSU kind of went it, or Ole Miss kind of came in there and did what they wanted. 300 passing yards, 115 on the ground. It looked good.
Yeah, but I think I'll give Oklahoma credit for making a comeback. They were down 22-10 at the half.
Yeah.
They fought back and made it. It was 25-13 with 5 minutes left to go in the third quarter, and they came back and took the lead 26-25. So I mean, Oklahoma is a feisty team. I still don't think they're very good. I keep reverting back to the Oklahoma versus Auburn game, watching both of those teams. I think they were both ranked at the time, and I'm like, I don't know if either one of these teams are very good at all. I still don't know that. But I just I think Ole Miss is better. I don't think Ole Miss is a great team. They just handled business against Oklahoma. So
yeah, and I also think that we still won't see Mateer at 100%. He wasn't there Saturday, and I get the weather also played a bit of an impact into his completion percentage, but I just still think that they look shaky enough in the pass game, and they have no run game. If you take away that 65-yard rush, they had 27 carries for about 70 yards, 17 yards on 13 carries.
And that's kind of his MO, right?
Yeah.
And he's a running guy, and if he's not running, he better be hitting passes, and he wasn't hitting passes.
Let's go to the SEC, guys. Taylor Plott joining us now back on set. We already talked Bama, so
that's fine.
If you had any rants.
No rants other than I was not shocked that the game went the way it did. I felt like that could have easily been a trap game, and I knew it turned out to be that way. But a win's a win. But
you'll take it.
I'll take it.
Yeah, it's a win. It's a road win in the SEC. It doesn't matter how bad or how good it looks. A win's a win.
A win is a win.
You will take it. Speaking of the SEC, Missouri falls at Vanderbilt. Man, how many times did Missouri have the ball in Vanderbilt's territory in the second half? You clank one off the upright. You go for it on. I mean, they left almost 20 points. On the board. This could have been a pretty comfortable win, but they made so many mistakes offensively deep in Vanderbilt's territory. And give Vandy all the credit in the world. They sustained the storm, went out there and got the score when they needed and won the game.
Yeah, and I think Missouri must have spent too much time in Auburn last weekend because Eli Drinkwitz complaining about the officials after the game, even though both teams had 8 penalties and just as many went against Vanderbilt as went against you. I watched this entire game. And listen, Vandy made the big plays when they needed to. Obviously, you had the 80-yard touchdown run. Pavia, I mean, his stats didn't look great, but he did enough. Yeah. He did just enough to get his team the win. And I think Vandy caught a break with Prbula, obviously rolling up his ankle there in the middle of the third quarter, and that was the first appearance for Zollers. And
he wasn't bad though.
No, I would say he looks very good. And despite giving up 10 points, Vandy's defense looked a little shaky. Yeah. It was bend but not break, and they didn't break, but boy, they got close.
I don't know. Maybe I didn't watch close enough. You think defense was shaky?
I thought
and they only gave it 10 points? Really?
I really do. Because Missouri got down there, it felt like every time.
I'll take your word.
I would say the yardage was pretty one-sided. It was 376 to 265 in favor of Missouri.
Yeah. I can somewhat get behind the shaky defense because back to AJ's point, I do think that Missouri did end up shooting themselves in the foot a lot. But still give Vanderbilt's defense credit because, it was you bent but you didn't break, and you did just give up 10 points against a really, really good Missouri Tigers team.
And you almost 400 yards total offense.
Only
gave up 10 points.
Only gave up 10 points.
Missouri, after looking at the stats, you wonder, how did Missouri lose this?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's one of those where you really had to watch.
And then you watch the game and go,
how did Missouri lose this? It almost feels like the Kentucky-Texas game from last weekend where one team won the game but the other one had more points.
I will come watching that game. Obviously, the injury to Missouri's quarterback, that's going to be talked about, and the backup. What was his? Was it Zollers? Zollers. Yeah, Zollers. 138 passing yards. He actually beat out Pavia in the passing yards. He only played in quarter of half. So it's. I don't know if they've come out to say what the injury is. It looked pretty bad. He's got an air cast on it.
They said it was no broken bones and there wasn't any ligament muscle messed up. So I guess just a bad sprain.
Just a bad sprain. So he'll probably be back obviously by the end of the year. But having Zollers, he looked pretty good. So I don't think that Missouri should be completely worried. I come away with this thinking, going into this game, off the top of my mind, I could say A&M, Bama, you can put Ole Miss up there too, obviously as the top teams of the SEC. Then you have this other large group before you get to the bottom tier. Yeah. And Vandy's right there knocking on the door of being top 3 in this SEC right now. Right. And it wasn't necessarily that I felt like Vandy got exposed, but I think Vandy, even though they're up there, they still have some issues to work out, and it could be issues they can work out, or it's just they're doing what they can with what they have, and it's obviously really, really good. Yeah. But Missouri went in there, and you felt like that they probably pretty dominated that game to an extent, and Vandy still came away with a 7-point win.
Are we being serious right now?
I know. Yeah.
No, I'm not. What? Look at this schedule. And Vanderbilt has beaten who?
They're 3-1 against top 25 teams.
Yeah. Okay, what? Who though?
I mean, obviously Missouri didn't look as great. Nope. LSU's not looking as great.
Just fired their coach.
South Carolina's not good.
Poop.
But I mean,
finally one good win on the schedule. I'm not saying Vanderbilt's a bad team. Please don't take. I'm not saying Vanderbilt's a bad team.
Yeah.
But what did you just try to tell me? That they're pushing the upper echelon of Alabama, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M?
Their record says so.
That's what I get. I
there
get
are
what.
lies. There are dang lies, and there are statistics. This is a dang lie.
I completely get that. Yep. And yes, I would say that my comment on that, it would be strictly based on what they're doing statistic-wise and stuff. Because at the end of the day, they're winning games. Mm-hmm. And you can put Bama in that category. Yes, I'm not saying that they're the Vanderbilt, but you look at some of the games that they do. You look at some of the games that Bama has. South Carolina, that's a pretty bad team for the SEC standards, and they got pushed to the limit. So they are doing what they need to do to win games. Vanderbilt's doing what they need to do to win games. They're just not doing it as with the type of opponents that an Alabama is facing right now.
Yeah, do we really know who the best teams in college football are right now?
I really do think it's Ohio State, and then maybe you could put Texas A&M and Indiana in there, and I think there's a big drop.
Ohio State really has it. You look at their schedule. There's nothing that pops out win-wise there.
Yeah.
Who does Vandy have remaining?
Kentucky, Texas, Tennessee,
Auburn, Kentucky, and Tennessee.
So, I mean, they've got some tough ones in there.
Yeah. Speaking of the SEC guys, heartbreak in Starkville. Texas scores 24 in the fourth and then gets that amazing play in the end zone in overtime, and the Bulldogs fold late in that game. Texas comes away to stay 3. They're 3-1 in that middle of the pack that you talk about, Taylor. They're right behind the best teams there in the SEC, and they stay alive with a win. And man, do you feel bad? It seems like Mississippi State's had so many opportunities.
They're in all these games.
They're in every single one of these games.
I would say because you have the overtime loss at home to Tennessee. You have somewhat a back and forth game with A&M. That one was close in the first half. Yeah. They should have beat Florida. Had the heartbreaker there, and then again at home in overtime against Texas. But listen, I said earlier last week with my show predicting this game that I thought Texas's offense was done for, and Arch goes out and throws for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns.
He didn't look bad.
They still have zero run game. I mean, they even got C.J. Baxter back. Still have zero run game. Texas is waiting to slip up again because that defense already is very shaky. Mississippi State is good on offense, but they should not have been able to put up 38 on that defense.
Well, their rushing leader was Wisner with 41 yards.
On 12 carries.
Yeah.
And then Baxter, 9 carries, 27 yards. I mean, they're getting 2.5 yards a carry.
Mississippi State had a 98.4% chance to win that game, according to win probability on ESPN, with 12 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Because they were up, 38-21 at that point?
38-21.
31-14 at this particular moment, at this particular time stamp. But yes, that score was also correct. I feel bad for State, and I want them to do well.
And they have their offensive line pass blocking though was terrible. I think Shapen got sacked 7 times. 7 times. That's not going to win you many football games.
I want to put Mississippi State in a comparable category with Auburn for a second. When you look at the way that Auburn folds, it's either what you call it, like a penalty or some fumble or something like that. Mississippi State's, it feels like they get out to such a big lead, and it's almost like they take their foot off the gas a little bit, and they end up getting too conservative. And you cannot do that against a Texas team that they've been struggling this year. Yeah. When you look at those differences, I feel like both Auburn and Mississippi State have been in these ball games, and they have had ways to win these ball games, and they just end up just crumbling when you honestly think this, like they've almost got this in the bag. So I don't know. It's just I know that they're better than what they're showing because obviously they are in every single one of these games, but man.
Got to learn how to win.
You gotta,
I know that's an old cliche, but they do.
But it's like the Vanderbilt comparison. You know, they're Mississippi State is better than what the record shows.
Yeah.
But Vanderbilt is not as good as what their record is.
Exactly.
So they're getting more out of what they have than what Mississippi State is.
Yeah.
And so that's another way you can give Vandy all the credit in the world, because they are getting the maximum plus about 10 more percent out of what they get.
That's good.
And give them all the credit in the world for it. Let's kind of quickly run through the Big 12 here, guys. Dominating wins for Texas Tech. Not surprising there. Cincinnati got off big early against Baylor. Didn't take their foot off the gas there.
They got game day, right? Coming to Texas. Is it Tech?
Cincinnati, Utah.
Cincinnati, Utah. Yeah, that's right.
Utah had a record-breaking win over Colorado. Give them credit there. Houston got out to a big lead, got a little shaky there on the road to Arizona State. Hey, you're going to go to 8-1 because they're coming there. Oh, God bless our hearts. Hey, we kept it. We kept it within 6. Of TCU.
Made it close.
Well, I told my wife when TCU scored on the first drive, I said, hey, if we can hold them to field goals all day, we'll cover the spread. Not saying we're going to win, but we can cover the spread. But BYU, guys, they go down big early. And then talk about putting their foot on the neck and just applying pressure. They did that at Iowa State. That team gets better and better. It's like the moment someone doubts them, it's like the whole team knows, and they go on the road, get a really good win there against Iowa State. So I think the Big Ten, and like you said, Houston's 7-1.
Yeah,
they're still not ranked.
Yeah,
they're 7-1.
You bring up this BYU Iowa State.
Yeah.
Iowa State now 5-3,
and they started off 5-0.
And you were really thinking that this is going to be that Iowa State team that finally breaks through, finally either wins the Big 12 or gets to the Big 12 championship game and punches their ticket into this playoff. And this just crumbled down.
They've had really tough luck this year with injuries since they made it back from Ireland, and that's kind of been their MO is like ever since they lost that game to Colorado, just the injuries have been compounding, and really they didn't have a lot of guys going into this game, but you figured the home crowd would have carried enough momentum, but BYU's good.
ACC wise, Louisville got off to a big lead, just kept it away from Boston College, but man, Virginia.
I mean, did we think North Carolina was going to be held down all season? Probably not, but this is the second week in a row where Virginia has played a team that they should beat comfortably, and it's gone down to the wire.
This is the second week in a row that North Carolina's pushed a team that was supposed to handle them. I mean, they almost beat Cal. They should have beat Cal, but had 2 stupid turnovers in that game that cost them, and they really could have and should have beat Virginia here if he catches the ball 2 inches further up the field than what he did. So I'm really intrigued by this North Carolina team because they've showed signs of life the past 2 weeks. Like they've tried to bring themselves up out of the grave, but they just haven't been able to. So I don't know if that's more of an indictment on Virginia or if it's more of a credit to North Carolina finally gelling some things together. It just depends on how you look at it.
Yeah, and props to North Carolina's defense. 6 sacks did not allow Chandler Morris to get his ground game going at all, and that's what's made Virginia so multiple. Is Jamari Taylor's a great running back, but Chandler Morris brings in a rushing threat from the quarterback position as well. 9 carries, minus 21 in the rushing category. That was a big that kept North Carolina in this one, but again, it was one of those where North Carolina knew they shouldn't have been in that game, went for 2 in overtime to just try to put it away, give themselves.
That was their chance to win it.
And obviously the play didn't go the way they wanted it to, but props to North Carolina. I think that I'm not going to say that they're going to do anything crazy and win out, but I think that they could be really annoying for some teams down the stretch, like maybe a Wake Forest or a Duke.
Is that who they have left?
Yeah, they got Syracuse, Stanford, Wake Forest, Duke, NC State. All those are very winnable.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who you are.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say the thing that strikes me is, they had a chance to win that game, and Belichick knew that was their opportunity, that if they were going to go into a second overtime, the chance of winning that game for them was probably not good. Yeah. So he saw that opportunity. Give him credit for having the guts to go for 2 there, and, I mean, you're talking about inches away from getting a win against Virginia right there. I agree with you. They are getting better on a week in and week out basis, and they are going to be annoying to some teams. They might not win out or win some more games, but they're going to be annoying, and I think that there's probably a win or 2 in there down the road.
Yeah. absolutely. And Big Ten wise, Illinois loses at Washington. No shock there. Illinois is out of every picture you can think of. The Michigan wins at Michigan State. Again, they got out to a big lead and they kind of poured it on there in the second half, even though Michigan State made it close. So Michigan's still in the race there. Illinois is out of it. And some of these races, when you look at the standings for these leagues, are getting
weird.
Some of them are starting to kind of separate. Hey, and the big one out of the group of five, Memphis. Speaking of a huge win, that's a huge win against South Florida. They're still not out of.
Did the American just get really weird though?
Really
now
did.
Memphis with one loss, South Florida's out. Now they've got 2 losses.
And Memphis still gets to play Tulane and Navy, so they'll and there's still a conference championship game on top of that.
I was about to say North Texas' quarterback this weekend, Friday night, threw for 608 yards, which is just absurd. That's a redshirt freshman. I mean, that is insane.
Yeah, that is crazy. So, lots of craziness going on, guys. Well, coming up next, we will go into the world of the NFL. Check out everything happened in week number 8.
If you're looking for a company that can do it all when it comes to building, look no further than Tenneke Properties. From new home builds to remodels and commercial projects, our contractors work hard to give your space a new life from planning to finishing touches. Whether it's new interiors or dirt work, they see your big picture without forgetting the small details. In the market for a new home, they partnered with Freeman Development to bring new homes to the Oak Hill subdivision of Lawrenceburg. That's Tenneke Properties, licensed and insured. Call today or visit Tenneke.com.
Let me tell you about a place that has it all for your home, bedroom, kitchen, lawn, and more. It's a home-owned and home-operated business that's been around for over 70 years, so you know they're doing something right. At Swap and Shop Center in Lawrenceburg, you'll find top name brands for every room of your house, and top brands for the outside too. Looking for appliances, televisions, couches, safes, bedding, mowers, and well, the list goes on. So make the drive today to 824 North Military Avenue in Lawrenceburg and be treated right. Southern Craft Manufacturing is dedicated to creating the finest quality and greatest value products in the death care industry. Southern Craft has perfected blending old world craftsmanship with modern manufacturing technologies to create a full line of steel, wood, and corrugated caskets. Family owned and operated for over 30 years, Southern Craft is now looking to hire local and regional truck drivers, welders, and production workers, each with great starting pay and a benefits package. For more information, visit SouthernCraftMFG.com.
Are you tired of missing out on family life just to be treated like another truck number? Since 1986, Southeast Carriers has been a family-operated business based in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. Being family-owned ourselves, we understand the importance of family, which is why we value it above all else. With our large number of dedicated lanes and our friendly staff, we are able to evenly divide your home time with the amount of time you spend on the road. We offer multiple benefits with large company pay now starting at $20 per hour, all while keeping a small company environment. For more information, visit our website, southeastcarriers.com, or check us out on Instagram and Facebook.
At Smith Tax and Business Service, we offer many services. Along with personal income tax prep, we also offer tax preparation for corporations and partnerships. If you're a small business and looking for some extra help, give us a shout and we'll get you fixed up. Call Mary Beth Smith, Marion Matthews, Brooklyn Bates, or Michelle Staggs to find out how we can help you. Located at 208 Pulaski Street, phone 931-244-6633.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
And welcome everybody back to X Sports Today. AJ Good with Taylor Plott, Bryant Gobble and Michael Marks, guys. We're talking week number 8 of the NFL. The Titans lost, so that one's out of the way. Thursday night, the Chargers picked up a pretty convincing win there against the Vikings. I just don't think the Vikings play good at home. They're just good, period. So the Chargers kind of get back with a good bounce back there. But how about the teams that we left for dead coming alive yesterday? The Dolphins, convincing win in Atlanta, and the Jets, 39 points, 23 in the fourth quarter to win, come from behind and beat the Bengals. What a win for those guys.
Yeah, Justin Fields looks really good for the Jets. 21 of 32, 244 yards.
I heard he can't throw.
Yeah.
I heard he can't complete a pass, guys.
Well, he completed 21 of them yesterday at a pretty good clip, too, just under 75%. He looked good. Breece Hall had a big game on the ground as well. And just an all-around great win for the Jets. I mean, we know their defense isn't going to be great, but we didn't think the Bengals' defense was going to be this bad. 23 points in the fourth.
I mean, especially with all the guys that they signed in the offseason. They re-signed some of their stars. And
Trey Hendrickson, 1 tackle.
Yeah.
That might do the Bengals playoff hopes in. I know they were trying to get Flacco in to right the ship and hopefully hold out for another couple of months till Joe Burrow can get back, but that you lose to an 0-6 Jets team at the time, and you give them a win.
Hey, their hopes look good for the first 3 quarters.
Yeah.
Didn't look good.
It was 0-7, right? They were 0-7. They're now 1-7, right? So,
that was had 8 yards per carry.
That was embarrassing.
Just
embarrassing.
Couldn't do it.
The Jets were going to win a game. You just did not think that it was going to end up being against the Bengals or another decent team. You would think that it's going to be, I don't know what their schedule is, so I'm just throwing teams out there. You think, okay, it might be the Dolphins or it might be the Panthers, one of those teams, but
those are all teams that beat them
already.
already.
All teams that beat them already, but you would think that it would end up being maybe one of those teams, but no, they go out and they beat the Bengals.
You didn't think they would do that how they did it. Like it's not like the Bengals have been some juggernaut, but you didn't think they would outscore them 39-38.
Right.
Like they just the Jets, especially Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson on my fantasy team. I know he was out yesterday, which hurt me. They outscored him, and after all the crap that went around about Justin Fields last week, and the owner coming out and saying what he did. Got to feel a little vindicated there. He says he doesn't pay attention to it, and I think I heard him say he just went into his closet and just started praying last week, and he tries to knock out all the outside noise. There's something that gets through, and probably a little bit of wow, look at me now.
Yeah. Of the Jets, 7 losses going in, 5 were by 1 score. You lost by 2 to the Steelers when you led from start to finish. You took a late lead at the Bucs. You lose by 2. That Monday night in Miami, they lose by 6. You lose by 2 in Denver when was you had that game in hand, and then you lose at home by 7 to the Panthers.
Well, you look at that 1-7 could have easily ended up being like
6-2.
You could be 6-2,
5-3.
And your losses are to the Bills and what was it, the Cowboys? And that's not too bad. That's not terrible teams.
Yeah, and then the Dolphins with your head coach under fire all week long, put up 34 points, 20 of 26, 4 touchdowns. Your running game gets going a little bit, and so much for the Falcons being a better team at home because they just looked awful from the
I don't think this says anything about the Dolphins. I think it says everything about the Falcons. About you were just saying. The Falcons they're inconsistent. They beat the Bills like 3 weeks ago, but then they come and lay an egg like this. That was embarrassing. I feel bad for Kirk. I love Kirk Cousins so much after watching the quarterback. He's a lovable guy. He's a family man. He loves the Lord, but he's not good at football anymore. I guess. I mean,
he's old.
He's gotten a little up there. 37.
Yeah, not looking good. We did have some dominant performances. Patriots at home against the Browns. Give Myles Garrett credit, though.
He tried.
What is it about, Joe Thomas spent his entire career there, Hall of Fame player, didn't have one winning season. And then you got this next level Hall of Fame caliber defensive end, and he plays on terrible team after terrible team. He had 5 sacks. Patriots won 32-13. The Eagles got their revenge against the Giants. They went 38-20. Bills and the Panthers their first home loss, 40-9, big there. Buccaneers dominate the Saints, not a shock. The Broncos, a huge win. And home against Dallas, the Colts dominate against the Titans. Packers, give them credit. They were down.
They were down.
A good portion of that game, scored 21 in the fourth quarter. They looked pretty good. And then got to give the Ravens credit. A lot of talk around that program. And they pretty much, from the second quarter on, kept enough distance away from Chicago. But Brian, it's kind of like the Falcons. I think that says more about Chicago than what that says about Baltimore.
Yeah, because Baltimore didn't go and get like a bunch of people back from injury or anything. There was no Lamar. It was still Tyler Huntley playing at quarterback. And the Bears' offense just looked lost. Really, the entire middle portion of the game. They got a touchdown late in the fourth, but at that point, it wasn't going to make a big difference in this one.
You know, you brought up the Steelers-Packers. That was one game that I watched most of it.
Yeah.
And obviously, you knew those are two good teams coming into that game. And there was part of me that was thinking that Aaron Rodgers is just going to have a great game, 4 touchdowns, just that type of stat line. And you watch the game, and it's like, all right, well, Pittsburgh's kind of really handling the Packers very well. Packers really can't do much. They started to get some stuff going in the second quarter. But going into halftime, Steelers, you're feeling pretty good there. And all of a sudden, the second half happens, and Jordan Love and that entire Green Bay offense just came to life, and they just went up and down that field like crazy. And just you were kind of thinking, okay, well, when are the Packers? When are they going to start having some signs of life? And they definitely did in that second half.
You deserve to lose when you look like that. That was
were those uniforms.
Does
it was
anybody
horrible.
like those uniforms? You look like you're dressing up as a construction worker for Halloween. It looked awful. It was terrible. Good grief! I can't get over. You do not. You deserve to be embarrassed when you walk on the field.
They went to play the Cheeseheads, so they decided to dress as cheese.
It was stupid.
I'm not telling you what I put in our group chat. Let's just say there was some colorful language when I was saying what is that stuff that they're wearing.
Big game for Tucker Kraft though for the tight end for the Packers, 143 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's a big game.
Hey guys, the top team in the league right now with the best record is the Indianapolis Colts at 7-1.
Color me shocked.
Yeah, I'm very shocked. Here's their remaining schedule. They're at Pittsburgh, home versus Atlanta, at Kansas City, home versus Houston, at Jacksonville, at Seattle, home versus the 49ers, home versus the Jaguars, at the Texans.
And that game against the Falcons is in Berlin, but I mean, this looks like a very easy schedule to manage. And a lot of people have given their owner a lot of crap. She's been the one standing on the sidelines every week, and the Colts have looked really good every week, minus that one lost week 2 to the Packers. Colts have been awesome this year.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's take a look at the next week's schedule. Thursday night, Baltimore at Miami. Then you got Chicago at Cincinnati, Minnesota at Detroit, Carolina at Green Bay, the Chargers at the Titans, Falcons at New England, San Francisco at New York, Colts at Pittsburgh, Denver at Houston, Jacksonville at Vegas, Saints at the Rams, Chiefs at Buffalo, Seattle at Washington, Monday night, Arizona at Dallas. My favorite question, guys, what is the cheapest game to get into?
Jags at Raiders. Nah, it's in Las Vegas.
No,
then
it's
Saints,
$99.
Yeah,
Saints Rams.
Saints Rams. Let me look.
By the way, I don't think any of us have gotten it on the first try as long as we've done this.
Saints Rams, actually, it's $54. It's one of the cheaper games to get into.
Well, Taylor, it's on you.
There's two that are really fighting hard for the cheapest game to get into this week.
Or what are the games that we already said?
I said Raiders, and he said Rams.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Chargers Titans.
It is $23 and not the cheapest game to get. It's the second cheapest to get into this week.
Ravens Dolphins.
No, that's $60.
Okay.
Yep.
It's usually not the Thursday or Monday games, but the Dolphins have been close to some of the cheaper ones this year.
Is it Jaguars Raiders?
No,
that's
what
I said.
You already said that's right. You said that.
$99 to get into.
I'm just looking at all these games. It's like I'm trying to remember.
Cowboys,
you said the Rams already, right?
Really? Cowboys.
Wow, I'm sitting there looking like these teams all like have crazy ticket prices. I was like, it's
$19 to get into Cardinals and Cowboys next Monday.
Really?
What else is going on?
Hang on, is it in Dallas?
Yeah,
it's in Dallas.
See, I looked at that. I was like, well, they're the home team. There's no way that's going to be the case, and that's Monday night too.
What else is going on in Monday in Dallas?
Jeez,
that's the second or third time it's happened in the past 2 weeks.
It's something about these giant stadiums. Like Dallas has won this
Yep.
a couple times, and it's like the Saints, the Rams, and the Cowboys are fighting for that spot.
Mavericks Rockets is that night.
When I saw the $23 to get into the Titans, I went like, okay, the Titans are finally going to win something. Nope. The Cowboys got to sweep it underneath the rug. Just like that.
Tough look.
Are the Mavericks playing?
Yeah, Mavericks are playing.
That's where everybody's going to go.
Maybe the Stars are home too.
Yeah.
Who knows? All right. Well, maybe we still got a lot of time before we check it out again. But it's one of our favorite games here to see. Some of these points, never know.
You never know.
I just want to know where these seats are. By the way, I know that they're going to be way up there, but it's like, where exactly are they?
Yeah. Well, though, if things keep going the way they were going in Cincinnati, you can find some cheap ones there too. I've taken advantage of that on a couple of occasions.
They'll probably let you play safety for them.
Yeah, really.
Well, that'll do it for X Sports today. We'll be back here once again 1:30 sharp. So for Taylor, Bryant, Michael, I'm AJ Gobble. See you guys tomorrow.
Going the distance with local sports.